What's up, guys, to another episode of Over the Top Talk. I'm your host, Owen. Anthony, couldn't make it tonight, but I just want to start this off and say thank you for 1,800 on Instagram. It really means a lot to me and Anthony. We've been, working very hard. But past that, we got our special guest on today. Welcome, Mohammed Omar.
Hello, hello, hello.
How we doing today, man?
Man, I'm all right. Lazy as hell. Uh,
Perfect.
no, like we were talking earlier, man, I felt bad about coming on so late.
No, hey, it's no problem with us. We're always, rolling on the clock. We interview, people from, that are like 5 hours ahead. So this is
Right.
nothing to us, honestly. So I guess we can start here. Do you want to tell me and, the people a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, man. I'm 27 years old. I'm a restaurant owner. I wrestle as of about maybe a year ago, and I'm really starting at this point get a lot busier with bookings. It was to the point where eventually I was thinking nobody wants to book me, nobody wants to book me, and then after the first couple bookings, I'm able to find something solid to keep myself very busy, especially Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Um, I'm boring as hell on the outside, but once I get in the ring, I'm a spark plug. I try to stay extremely energetic throughout the match. Um, that's about it, man. I'm from Somalia originally, and I live in Columbus, Ohio right now. And then I trained out of the Nightmare Factory with Cody and QT. And here I am. I mean, if you have any specific questions, hi, Baba. Sorry, my son's over here being a bad guy. Come here. Come I want to see him. Come here. Want to say hi? Ooh.
What's his
Say hi.
name?
His name is Juleibib.
Uh,
Yeah. You want to say
how
hi?
old did you say he was?
He is about to turn 2 in May.
Perfect.
Say hi. Go play, go play, go play. But all right, let's get
All
going.
right. So I guess I can start off with, asking, how was the experience, training with Cody and we saw Billy Gunn on there as well.
You know, so it's three head coaches: Cody, QT, Billy Gunn, and another guy named Luke Sampson. He's the full time trainer. And then Cody, he came in every couple weeks, every couple days to, because he was traveling for Raw, SmackDown, pay per views. And then it's a level of training that you're not going to get anywhere else. It's a very intense. And then each trainer kind of gives you a different aspect of the business. So Cody gives you more of the insight with why we do what we do, how to be TV ready, how to look TV ready. And then QT gives us more of the insight of connections, how to be presentable, why you're doing what you're doing in the ring, not to just do a bunch of indie mark stuff, it's wrestling that makes sense. And then, Luke taught us mostly day to day conditioning, training. And then QT's wife was actually there also to teach us nutrition, diet plans, anything that had to do with dietary needs, dieting, working out, anything like that. She took care of. So, from what I understand, it's the only wrestling school that's a one stop shop. They teach you every piece of the business inside and out, how to stay healthy with it, how to develop a physique, and then from what I understand, there's no other wrestling school that does that from top to bottom. There's nowhere else.
Perfect, man. So what like inspired you to become a wrestler?
What inspired me, man, is I started watching back in like 2001, 2002 when I was a kid. And then I just since the first match I saw, I fell in love with it, you know. And then from there, like it's nothing. My journey to wanting to do it is nothing inspirational, you know. It's the same as every other guy that wants to be a professional wrestler. The only thing I would say that's different is my route to get there. You know, I'm a businessman, and
Yeah.
I look at professional wrestling like it's. I used to think it was. I used to look at it in a childish light. You know, if I stay strong and believe in myself and all that BS, you know, and it's not about that at all. It's the way I look at it is business. It's absolutely business. You can draw what can make money. You know, you have to be able to be marketable. And, you know, if you're not able to look at one of these billionaires at some point and show them, like, hey, I can be marketable to you, I can make you a lot of money, I can draw you views and money and sell merch. And that's all it is at the end of the day, you know. But I fell in love with it. It was an escape. It was just something new to me. I was never interested in sports. I don't care to play them. I didn't care to watch them, none of that. But then when I saw wrestling, is like, this is different. You know, I like the lights, the pageantry, the fighting, the mics, the, you know, people talking on the mics, you know, and then I saw something a couple years ago. I think, I forget who said it. I know it was Conor McGregor talking some BS about the wrestling. I think it was Seth Rollins that said, like, what happens when one of you guys gets injured is the match stops, you know? What happens when one of us gets injured, the match keeps going, you know?
Yeah, of course. What would you say some of your most memorable moments?
As far as being a fan or being a wrestler.
Being a wrestler.
And being a wrestler, so far, it has to be meeting some of the guys in the back. Um, Obviously, winning this championship a couple of weeks ago, that's got to be up there. Let me just check here, boys. Bye-bye. Wait, sorry, man. I feel like you caught me in the most unprofessional time you could. But anyway, most memorable times, getting in the ring with QT is definitely one of them. Because he's at the highest level of AEW management, you know, and to think that you are right there in the ring with him, performing and showing him what you can do, you know. My regret is that I was very green at the time, so I was shy. I was very in my head, and then I feel like I didn't get to show him everything I could do at that time. But you know, I'm a lot better, more comfortable with where I am right now. That's definitely one of them. Another one is getting in the ring with the Big Show. You know, talking with him, with Paul, him giving us advice, teaching us how to do these moves and to the psychology behind it. That was like a starstruck moment, you know. Same thing with Cody being in the ring with him. Same thing with Billy Gunn being in the ring with him. I would say number one though has to be winning that title so far, just because I think that's the first major accomplishment, you know, that I have, and I don't think there's anything else that can come close to that. Not yet, at least. Not yet.
Perfect. So, what would you say has been some of your um favorite matches so far in your wrestling career?
Uh, Number one, I think, has to be a match I had with. Let me just check here, man. I'm sorry, I had some employees texting me. I'm busy. Number one has to be a match I had with Primetime Wrestling in Gadsden, Alabama, against Adam Jacobs. It was an Extreme Rules match. I nearly shit my pants because it's the first one I've ever been in at that time, but they trusted me enough to go do that. And then it was the first time I didn't have to really plan a match out. We just kind of planned out a little bit of the shine, a little bit of the finish, and then the heat and all the jib jab in between. It was just fun being able to just, you know, use weapons. There was a whole section of empty chairs that were lined up for the audience. At some point, those were empty, and I told him, like, hey, just fucking throw me into the sea of chairs, you know. And then I think that was fun. That was definitely one of the funnest matches. And then, um, yeah, that's probably my number one.
All right. What has been some of the challenges that have came up, with wrestling?
Traveling, man, traveling. Traveling is a mother, especially when I was training because I live in Columbus, Ohio, but I trained in McDonough, Georgia at the factory. That's a 650-mile drive almost there and 650 miles back. So it's a little bit easier now because I can control my bookings and I can go out when I need to go out to wrestle. But then running my restaurant at the same time, uh, at that time, I think we trained Monday through Friday, and then Friday afternoon, I would leave school and drive back to Columbus so I could manage my store. And then Sunday night, I would pack up my gear, everything, and then drive back to McDonough, Georgia. And I did that for 3 months straight. That had to be the hardest time. Absolutely.
Of course. With that, how would you say you balance, having that restaurant and then like having your wrestling career?
And a good team is number one. An absolutely good team. Uh, I have a lot of people there at that restaurant that I can trust to take care of things when I'm gone, to do their jobs, and then to know that they keep the store running when I'm not there, and then when I'm there, I keep it running. And then to me, it's a lot of heavyweights, because you have to manage payroll, scheduling, bills, shopping, customer service, the cleanliness of the store, all of that. On top of that, you got to go get your ass kicked a couple days a week. But it's fun as hell right now.
Of course. How would you say it feels to perform in front of like live crowds?
At first, it was scary, definitely, because I grew up with vitiligo, so white and black skin. Um, and I wasn't born with it. I grew up for the most part without it. When I was about 14, I developed it, and then I kind of turned into a recluse after that. And I felt like everybody was just looking at me for the wrong reasons. And then getting into professional wrestling is weird because now all the eyes are on you when you're in that ring. And then I figured, at one point, there's what you can control and what you can't control. And one thing I can't control is my skin color, but one thing I can control is uh, people looking at me. And I think one day it just clicked because I was too shy to do it. And then I figured, like, hell, if people are going to stare at me, it's going to be on my terms. So when I'm in that ring, I'm the one calling the shots. I'm the one dictating their reactions. I'm the one that's got their eyes on me. And like I use that for motivation, to not be scared. Now I'm not scared. Doesn't matter if it's 100 people. Doesn't matter if it's 1,000 people.
Perfect. Have you had any like funny fan interactions so far?
Funny fan interactions. Yeah, yeah, because my ring name is MAO. It's just my initials, Mohammed Ali Omar. And there's this, hi, Baba, I love you. There's this prick in Erie, Pennsylvania, and he's a fan. He goes there every week. He's a nice guy outside of there, but he has this running joke that my name is Mayo. Mayo, like what you put on a sandwich or something. So there's that. And then other than that, it's nice to mess with the crowd, just piss them off and just talk down to the city, talk down to the teams, anything you can really do to get cheap heat. And I'm from Somalia and I carry around a Somali flag when I'm wrestling. So, foreign heel. And then one guy in the crowd and another in Ohio popped me for a second, and then I had to compose myself because they announced my name, Muhammad Ali Omar from Somalia, whatever. And someone says, "Does he have a green card?" So, So it's funny as hell, man. You just get to see all the best and worst that the fans have to offer, and then you got to keep your cool and find a way to kind of give it back to them, but still entertain them a little bit.
Of course. What is like what advice would you give to someone that like wants to get into the sport of wrestling?
Have a physique, or at the very least, develop one. If you don't have one, that's a lot coming from me because I'm not perfect. I'm not in the best shape. I'm not in the worst shape, but you need to be able to have progress with your physique because at the end of the day, like I said in the beginning of the show, it's a business and you have to be marketable. And if you show up looking like a fat slob or you show up and you're skinny as hell, no muscle mass on your body, you need to be able to look at other people and be jealous and in the right way. I want this body that guy has. How can I get it? And then you can learn the steps to get it, but don't be don't just show up and stay in the same place you were 6 months ago. If you get into wrestling and you're fat as hell, you can control that. You can be different. If you come in skinny as hell, you can control that and you can be different. So number one is to either have or develop a physique. Number two is look at it like it's a business, like I said. If you look at it like a mark and someone who's gonna wait for opportunities to come to him and this and this and this, it's bad. It's bad. Make a logo, develop a shirt, have a diet, go to the gym. It's not easy. It's annoying as hell being a wrestler, man. Like I only do it part-time and it's one of the most annoying things I've ever done in my life. I gotta shave my arms, shave my legs, shave my ass cheeks. I gotta keep my beard, trimmed up, get a haircut, have to have good gear, message all these promoters. Some of them will leave you on red, some will respond. Put your pictures out there, like, share, and comment on whatever you can comment on wrestling related. So for the most part, it's annoying and it's unrewarding, but when it becomes not annoying and rewarding, that's when it's worth it. So take yourself seriously, have a game plan. Have a game plan, develop a network of guys that you can trust and talk to. Be coachable, for the love of God, be coachable. There's a lot of people who are backstage and instead of watching the matches, they're just talking and eating and this and this and this when you could be paying attention to the matches. You can focus on what this guy just did or what these guys just did so you don't repeat it, so you don't show them up if you're not in the main event. Don't do a bunch of stupid spots if it's not your place to do that. Leave that to the main event. Just basically use these more and use this less. So is a big proponent.
Perfect. What would you say is like your like dream with wrestling?
Absolutely, to get signed. I want to do this as long as possible. I want to make as much money as possible, and I want to do it in the most short amount of time as possible. And no one's going to stop me. Number one, I told Cody, we had a little promo class with him, and everybody get this and that and that. And at that time, I was carrying a little bit more weight. I think I was like 220, 225 pounds, something like that. And I told him, like, you know what, I'm not the biggest, but I can get bigger, whether I have to put certain savage sauce in my body to get bigger, whether I have to take acting classes, take promo classes, whether I have to work for free or do this or travel there or pay my dues. And no matter what it is, you got to do it. And I told him I'm willing to do all that. And he told me privately, he told me, like, I don't want you to think you have to do that. And then he told us eventually when we were doing promos that this is a vanity business. It's absolutely a vanity business. You got people like Roman Reigns and Randy Orton, good looking guys, tall, strong, 200 plus pounds, good looking, and that's the kind of guys you got to compete with. So for me, I told him, unapologetically, I'm going to take every advantage that I can. I'm going to take every shortcut that I can. I'm going to take every route that I can. I'm going to talk to every promoter, go to every indie event, whether it's a mud show or not. I'm going to get on every podcast I can, have the nicest gear. improve in the ring, improve on the mic, and that's all. You have to do all of that if you want to get to the big leagues. So, what's my number one goal? To get signed, whether it's AEW, WWE, MLW, TNA, you know. And I'm not interested in becoming the first this guy, the first that champion, the first this guy. I'm just trying to make a lot of money. I'm trying to make a lot of money in this industry.
Perfect, man. And obviously, we, wish you a lot of luck with that.
Definitely.
And that was my last question. But for everyone that we have on, we give them a chance to, shout out, any social medias they have, matches coming like that. So I'll give you the floor to do that.
Yeah. So Facebook is Mohammed Ali Omar. Spelling is right there. Or if you search MAO on Instagram or official MAO. Uh, if you want to go like XVW, it's a local indie promotion in Fairborn, Ohio. I'm the current reigning XVW King of Cable champion. I'm hoping to go work with Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling with QT Marshall. That's my coach. I really want to show him how much I've improved, how much bigger I've gotten. I've got a little running joke in the wrestling community. I'm trying to be the most vascular man in professional wrestling. And I think that's absolutely doable. I don't have the best genes, but for some reason, I have veins in places you wouldn't even imagine. You know, I guess it's just leaning down a lot. Uh, Elijah Drago, I love you, buddy. I hope you're doing well, man. He's one of my best buddies in professional wrestling. He just signed an AEW contract. You know, so for me, I use that as motivation. We wrestle together every couple weeks with Primetime Wrestling. Uh, Shout out to Sean Ambrose. This guy's one of the best, one of the first promoters to ever give me an opportunity, you know, and he's been booking me consistently since. We're in a faction called the FAFO. It's the F word and find out, you know, long-term storytelling in that promotion. Uh, you know, I'm all around. You know, you're gonna see me everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'm getting on as many podcasts as I can, so it's definitely not the first you've seen of me, though. Well, you'll see a lot of me. But here's hoping. Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling is the next place you guys are going to see me, hopefully.
Perfect, man. So we obviously, me and Anthony, wish you well. We'll stay up to. Uh, we'll stay up. We'll focus on you, among our other wrestlers, and hopefully, you make it big.
I appreciate it, man. I really did feel bad about how this interview started and how it turned out. It's just kind of when you're running a restaurant, it's kind of just one of those things you can't control. But I hope that I can give you a better interview sometime down the line in the future. I have a lot of guys that I stay in contact with. Elijah, he could give you guys a lot of good insight with being a signed talent, and he's just trying to improve a lot before he gets on TV. And a lot of the other guys I went to the Nightmare Factory with, Cole Carter, great guy. I love you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Jack Jameson, Pose Malone, he's on Collision every week. So go watch him there, support him, buy his merch. One of the coolest guys in the world. I learned so much from him nutrition wise, and absolutely just one of the greatest guys you can be in contact with. Just find a good circle, man. Find a good circle of guys if you're looking to get into professional wrestling, and you know, provide value to whoever you're around, especially these promoters, these bookers. Show what you can do for them. Take incentive. Pass out flyers. Give them some of your merch to give away at the shows for free. Get your name out there somehow. Look at this like a business, man. It's not a sport. It's a work. You know. So look at it like a business.
Perfect, man. So we'll take clips from this. We'll post it to Instagram. It'll be on our Spotify. I'll put all of it in my story. I'll tag you in it. And thank you for coming on once again.
Thank you, man. I hope I can see you again.
Thank you, man. Have a great night.
All right, brother. You too.